What's up, y'all? This is your boy Juro. It is October the 7th, 2016. How is everybody doing? That's right, y'all. You are on the backside of your week. You're getting ready to step into your weekend. And I hope that wherever you are, sidestepping the negativity, keeping your feet grounded, speaking your truth, but most importantly, placing God first in everything you do. So, some of you are, have you noticed this week, y'all? This week has been pretty topsy-turvy, hasn't it? There's so much going on the boob tube to keep you distracted. There's so much salaciousness put right under your nose, trying to get you to breathe in the drama, to take in the comfort of what is holding you back. But I'm putting this video out for somebody because I got this feeling, y'all. You're in a space where something has got to give. And I've echoed this before because I understand that we all want to be safe, to be loved, but more importantly, step into who you really are. And I think a lot of y'all nowadays are starting to see the realization of what is required to be you. That's right. That's right. That beautiful heart, that beautiful mind. Because you know, where the mind goes, the body flows, right? So there's a requirement. That's a requirement. Yes, it is. And you know, it does not do you any good to run over there, to come over there, come back from over there, to only have to repeat and see it again. Who am I talking to? So you now on the backside of your week. I got a feeling some of y'all have actually this week heard your voice for the very first time. And you have to get used to it. I commend you. But with everything, if you hear anything that I've conveyed, the greatest story that you won't ever know is your life. The greatest love affair that you'll ever come to know is you. And when you decide to allow yourself to be vulnerable to those emotions, not only will it unlock the beautiful person you are, but it also reveal your purpose. Who am I talking to? I think now you're getting tired of being tired, aren't you? I think that some of y'all have made a declaration already. You said, you know what, Joe, I can't do this no more. I'm tired of towing the rope. I'm tired of having the bag be full when I start the day, but it always comes back empty, knowing that there's a hole in it. Who am I talking to? So this message is for those who are ready to unconditionally love themselves. You do understand that until you decide to claim the real you, all your blessings, all your endeavors, all your acknowledgments are in a holding pattern. You do understand that, right? How many blessings are you going to watch go past you and you know in your heart and mind that is you? How many things that are going to be revealed, but it's going to feel like someone's pulling the rug from under your feet? How many people are going to have to go through the experience of realizing that once again, you are being treated without respect? You are holding the bag. You think that's your story? Who told you that you were born to play the martyr? Who told you that you have a endless balance called victim? You got that big old victim card because that's all you know. Let me tell you something. Devil's work is never done, y'all. And as long as you keep believing that is the case, you're going to keep getting more of the same. And I'm here to tell you that's not your story. So I'm going to ask you a very important question. Maybe you need to sit down. I do need your attention. Do you know who you are? Do you? Because if you knew who you are, why are you hurting? Hmm? Why are you running? Because guess what? Yes, God did say he's not going to give you nothing that you can't withstand. But the number one thing that he gave, the two precious gifts he gave you was this: to unconditionally love yourself, but also free will. So to actually understand free will, you must have clarity. So what is distracting you? What's got you shaking like a leaf, making your decisions from an impulsive point of view? Why? Because of what he said? Don't worry, he ain't gonna be there. Because of what she does? Don't worry, she isn't gonna earn the right to hold your last name. Don't worry about that. Because the truth is coming. I know that's somebody's song right there speaking to you, ain't it? Mm-hmm. When you gonna give yourself the green light to love you? Mm-hmm. You didn't work through the week. You didn't toil. You didn't put up with so much BS. And you say, Gerald, I finally am going to reward myself and I'm going to unwind and I'm going to go into this environment. But you're going to know when you take a step back before you get in there, just know this. There's a commonality in the environment. That's why it's hidden. That's why the music is loud. The drinks are strong. And the visuals are in the dark. You know why? Because if you saw things as you should, you wouldn't put yourself there. You wouldn't. If you were able to see the next obstacle, why would you walk in it? If you saw the next burden getting ready to come down your direction, why would you embrace it? Because most people are not grounded. Most people are afraid to speak their truth. But let's peel that onion back. Most people deep down inside don't know who they are. Why? Because they refuse. You refuse to love you. Here's the thing, though. Why are you giving them so much free reign over your life? Hmm? Why are you doing it? Why? Because of the story they told you? Like, just hold on. Just hold on. Let me show and tell. Well, they've been telling, but there's no show. But get this. They know that you are playing emotional jump rope and you've been jumping, so your legs got to be tired. But here's the thing. Instead of planting your feet firm on the ground, you speed up the rope. Don't you realize eventually you're going to trip up? You're going to trip, slip, bust your lip, and then what? Are they going to be there to pick you up? No. They're going to look at you with that look in their eyes. Who am I talking to? They're going to look at you with that look and ask you like it was your fault. Why couldn't you speed up yourself? No accountability. And most people that have no intentions on seeing tomorrow with you, Because to have a future, you must have your feet grounded today to manifest that. You do understand that, right? Hmm? Listen to that. Somebody likes this song, Soulmate by Raw Rizzo. That's your jam, ain't it? Hmm? No matter how you paint it, we're talking about your spirit. Don't you know your soul's not for sale? But as long as you are in that spiritual suit, the drinks are not going to be strong enough. Your brain is going to be stirred up. Your emotions are going to be heightened. How about that sex drive? You know why? Because deep down inside, you long for something that is real. Who am I talking to? Let me tell you something. The moment that you decide to step back, how about do that do that self inventory? You know that? You know, your dreams, your pros and cons, the things that you know that you have left undone. You don't think the things that you have turned your focal point away, they're going to go away, do you? You actually think that? They they take a life on their own, and what ends up happening is they end up being presented to you right with the next experience. How about the next hello? Who am I talking to? You know what's the tragedy is some of you have gotten to a point where you accepted the numbness. Ooh, he went there. You're feeling frozen. You're feeling disconnected. And the only time that you find some type of inertia with yourself is when you're impaired. That's a dope song. If those who are into it, Esmeralda Spalding, she got a song out called Unconditional Love. You know, that's the tapestry of your life. It's also the signature of what makes your reality too. Because see, if you don't unconditionally love yourself, guess what? Anybody in your environment will do the same thing that you like. So if you're not loving you, how about being honest with yourself? How about embracing your fears? You know, fears. Finally, everything's a reality because that's what makes up the challenges that you have to overcome. That is what is the measuring stick of your growth. You don't actually think that your life is going to be progressive based off on the physical aspect. Do you? Do you think that you actually think because of how your bosom sits and your contour that's going to carry you so far? It will carry you. Yes, it will. It'll carry you to the next disappointment, the next stolen moment, the next stranger's bed. And you wonder why the HIV rate still increases, the infertility rate still increases. Unfortunately, women still not married. You actually think you're supposed to go through your life single? No. You're supposed to be the one that's supposed to break the cycle. You may be thinking to yourself, if anything, think about how you were reared. You saw what your mom went through. Who am I talking to? You saw what your mom went through, and you saw the cavalcade of fools that came through that door. And you remember how you felt when they came through. You already knew in the back of your mind, set the watch. They'll be out of here. And then every now and then, God would bless and send someone to put a twinkle in your eye, to drop a jewel of compassion in your heart, only for it to be dashed away because of the fact that the mindset of what your mom may have been feeling. Who am I talking to? There is over an abundance of single moms on this planet that should not be. You know why? Because I would say 75% of them do not love themselves. I'll do one better. Do you actually think that that little girl that lives in you still, because you do understand your outer presentation is only to move around on this earthly ground. The little girl inside you is looking through you. That your outer shell is nothing but that. So if anybody is required, loyalty should be her, should be him. And every time that you choose not to honor yourself, you are putting another dagger in that little boy, in that little girl that lives. That's why it does not do you any good to run. Why are you running? Hmm? You running in the arms of a stranger? That might be the one that's going to kill you. You ever thought about that? Because there's a lot of broken fools out there. There's a lot of broken souls out there waiting to destroy your life. You ever thought about that? It doesn't matter who they know, what they possess. Don't you understand? Anything that is not blessed will be removed. It has to. Why you think that person that was in your life one minute then gone the next? Because God knew their story, created, and said, no, 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 no. You're not going to have that one because that person had a demon in him, had a demon in her, and you in turn you looked at it as, well, they just rowdy like that, they just, they be lit. Nah, they lost. They don't care. That's why you feeling a certain kind of way because you think you have a connection. That ain't no connection. That's lust. You do understand that, right? Today I was going to change it up for you guys today. I was going to go on down to the ocean front because, yes, Matthew is showing his butt down in the southern coastline of here in the U.S. And for those who are North Carolina to Florida, you have my prayers. Use your common sense. Do not play hero. Do what's required to protect yourself to see another day. Do not put yourself in harm's way because of your pride. Because guess what? There's a lot of prideful people laying in cemeteries before their time. Why? Because they didn't see their worth. And guess what? You know who sees your worth before you do? The devil does. Yeah, you didn't know that? The devil knows who you're gonna become. And guess who makes the obstacles that you're gonna face? He loves breaking hearts. He loves dashing dreams. He uses ego. He uses your fear. That's why some of you have a hard time sleeping at night. Who am I talking to? You think that the only solution to get a good night's sleep is you got a pill pop? How about get that night hook or zoot on up the cloud nine? Let me tell you something. If you guys are embracing uh, the drug lifestyle, let me ask you something. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? We'll just use 20 years span. Where do you see yourself? I hope it will be not doing what you're doing now. Because if you stay on the path that you are on, you know what's going to happen. You might as well go on ahead, get you some medical insurance, work a full-time job. You already got it. But plan on using it because you're going to be somebody's patient. You're going to be someone's, unfortunately, assigned to someone to be your caregiver. Because guess what? If the mind is not healthy, the body is going to reflect off the decisions that you make. I ain't going to tell you that. Look at millennials. Hear my call. You live in a tech world. Why won't you learn from history? Look at those that have come before you. And what do you see? They look like you see a whole lot of people in their 40s and their 50s looking like they just woke up out of a deep sleep. They look washed over. You know what I'm talking about? Like they just woke up out of that hangover. Nah, what you're seeing is the evidence of what you're doing 20 years before. Because guess what? What you're doing ain't nothing new. Actually, you're doing a throwback of what they were doing in the 60s. In the 80s and the 90s, you didn't hear about people popping pills. Yes, cannabis was always there. But then in the 80s, they said, you know what? We got too many conscious people in the world. We got too many people giving a damn about themselves. They're starting to take care of their health. Nah, we can't afford that. What's going on here and roll that crack out there? And the crack epidemic came and it destroyed a lot of families. A lot of people fell victim to that. Now, meanwhile, heroin was always there, but you didn't hear about it as strong as you do today. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, it was, but now crack use is low, but still there. Heroin use is really out there twerking in society. That heroin is doing a number. But here's the kicker though. It was not contained to the minority. It is pandemic. And little Marsha Brady has got track marks. Little Kobe is getting arrested for shoplifting and lives ruined. So that's why you see shows like Intervention out there. That's why you hear PSAs out there. Last PSA I remember when I was in my 20s was about HIV. What happened to them? What happened to PSAs for HIV? Hmm? Cocaine's always been here. But they used to pass it off and say, well, you know what? That's a rich man's high. Don't worry about the minorities. They can't afford it. And they still do it. So, unless you're planning on carrying an oxygen tank, hooking up a little glossary bag, or spending your day incapacitated, watching time go by, but your dreams staying still, I can't stress this. Do not, do not, do not waste your life. So, to title this video, I said, they'll be okay, move forward. Because somebody needs to hear this. Because I see this a lot. You have a lot of people that I call it the wounded bird syndrome. And the instinct is you see a wounded bird, you want to help it. You see a stray cat, you want to feed it. What about them broken people? And a lot of times, women, you fall prey to that all the time. You see that one dude, he has a certain mystique about him, but he's got a lot of roughness about it. And you feel that you said, well, you know, if he just had someone care for him, if he had a little bit of someone give him some attention, he might can turn the corner and do it on his own. Well, I've come to learn that when you see that, that is really a spiritual test of your free will and judgment. I know somebody's like, you talking to me, Gerald? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Because guess what? You know how I always echo? It's okay to say no. A lot of times, that is the hardest word to fall from your mouth. Because for some reason, society thinks when you say no, no means forever. And I'm here to tell you, no, no means under review. See, nobody can make you do what you don't want to do. Nobody. Doesn't know. It doesn't matter who they are, what they possess, and what they look like. So, why would you cavalierly give your time to someone who has yet to earn the right to walk with you? You ever thought about that? You ever thought about that? Mm. Come on, Kings. You know what I'm talking about. You see that real pretty girl. She pretty, and she with that pit bull over there. And you know that she being flipped, dipped, and she getting worked over. And you say to yourself, if I had her, I would treat her the way she deserves to be treated. And it makes you feel a certain way. But don't you understand what you realize? What is being presented is you're seeing someone's mental capacity, but yet the commonality that brought them together. You see it a lot. For example, she the breadwinner, but he the bread eater. She work, she bring the bacon home. He sit on the same. He didn't sat on that couch so long that one side of that couch has his butt prints because he's always there. But yet, for some reason, she has this fantasy in her mind that one day, he's gonna wake up and treat her with the respect, the honor, and compassion she's dreamed about. Can this happen? Sure it can. Does it happen? Nope. You know why? Because what you're witnessing is a lesson. Hmm. See, far many times we see in our society, people get caught up in the illustration of potential. You say, well, I found this diamond that's unpolished, Gerald, and if I put my energy in it because of my track record with Manny and Mo, John and Bill and Steve and Raphael and Terrence, I'm gonna really work this one. I'm gonna be his everything. And what happens? He takes care of your tenderoni, and when the deed's done, so does the respect. Like, you have me now, pause, click. Now back to our regular scheduled delay. Why you just, come on, man. Come on. And I'm saying this because I have seen many broken sparrows along my life path. And I have extended time, advice, and even money. Oh yeah, sure. You're looking at a cat that I've always had an innate ability to look at a person in their best light, but the lesson would be the reality of who you are dealing with at that moment. Can people change? Yes. But guess what? You know what? You know what the beautiful thing about change? Change requires transparency. And you can't be transparent unless you are vulnerable to yourself. So if you're not loving yourself, how are you being honest with yourself? Who am I talking to? You actually think that, well, I go out and buy this nice little outfit because it'll keep his focus. That's going to be the switch or the end all be all from his bad behavior. When in actuality, yes, it will stimulate him. But guess what? I've also come to learn this. If you constantly see, first of all, people always want what they don't have. Let's make that clear. But if you reward bad behavior, you receive more of the same. Who am I talking to? You are not supposed to be spending your time ashamed of your tears. Don't you realize your tears washes the soul? So does truth. So who's defining your truth? Who's spending your truth? Who's speaking your truth? Is it you? Because if it is you, this goes back to the question I said earlier. It should validate this. You know your life. And you know what it takes for someone to have the greatest gift. The greatest gift you're going to ever have, y'all, is time. The greatest blessing that comes with that is to be able to watch someone grow. But to fully understand that, you must also understand this. Yes, all people can change, but they cannot change in public sight. So what happens is you're divided. That's why he's not with you. That's why you wish those dreams would go away. You're thinking about him in your mind. You're going through the the spin cycle. I'm not making light of your pain. I'm not. You know why you're in pain? Because that's the energy of the love that you need. But guess what? The pain can't go away until you have that connection. How about having the communication with God? Why? See, listen. Why you hear people say, well, I'm Miss Independent. You know what Miss Independent is? Miss Independent is that woman that's going to grow by herself. And what is a person by themselves? Unprotected. Do you think that's part of your life path? No. You actually think that, see, look, I can't convey this any better than this. It does not matter how wild you are, how wicked you are in the bed. None of that matters. None. What matters is validation of your life. And there's going to be one person. That person may have been someone that you know in passing. You might have been with them. And you shifted in two paths. But here's the kicker about it. Meanwhile, while you're restrained, because you are, your mind's still wondering, what if? And that's one thing I will say, though, I have to give Mark Zuckerberg, yes, I said they're right, Mark Zuckerberg, props. Because when he came out with Facebook, it had millions of people feeling a certain kind of way. Had people singing back down memory lane. Yes. Yes. You're wondering what happened to Johnny. What is Sarah doing these days? And what you didn't know is that was nothing but the platform that the devil was doing. He was like, yep, I knew that was the right bait because what I got in store for you, you're going to need that to get through it. And you hurt. That's how the devil do, y'all. The devil don't give a damn about you. He wants your spirit. And he loves to destroy you. That's all he wants. He wants, see, listen, you can't, the longer you do not establish a relationship with yourself, you do leave yourself vulnerable for demonic attack. How about that Jezebel spirit? That Jezebel spirit, she wicked. She's the reason why you have insecurity. She's the reason why when you look in the mirror, you say, I got to be like them to just be in the same crowd. That's a ruse to convince you not to see how beautiful and unique you are. If you realize, come on now, you actually fell for the okie doke when you thought that you were not unique. Come on, queen. The world is filled with millions and millions of wildflowers because the wildflowers is an illustration of you. That was the signature to mankind to let you know that with proper soil, beauty can grow from it. With proper nourishment, the roots run deep. And as long as those roots are deep, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what season and what comes. I'll break it down now. You think that there's going to be no flowers surviving the potential hurricane? The petals might get blown off. The stem might be a little wiggled, but them roots run deep. So that's why I'm saying this, and this is the reason why I titled my video to you. It's time for you to stop running from yourself. Stop holding yourself hostage to people that will never see your worth. They're treating you with such disrespect, but your loyalty is there to say more. May I have more? Why? Why? Some people don't deserve to hear you breathe. How about know your middle name? How about earn the right to walk with you? That is set up for a chosen few. That is why you can't use the word friend without the word love. Because a friend is a representation of unconditional love. They love you so much, they want the best for you, even if it means they can't see it with themselves. They want the best. Why? Because that's what love does, y'all. And let me make this clear to someone, because some of y'all got this jaded perspective, and I hear people say it so much. They said, "Well, what happened to you and Steve? Oh, I don't love Steve no more." You know why you don't love Steve? Because you won't admit to yourself that you never loved Steve. You know why you don't love Steve? Because there's a control component in that. But really what's going on is you don't love yourself. Because guess what? You'll come to understand that love can never be destroyed. It only transforms. Just like your life. Your life is not supposed to be stagnant. Your life is not supposed to be in delay. What about them dreams? What happened to those dreams? Better yet, who told you that your dreams are not your dreams? Who convinced you not to embrace them? Who told you that? I bet you it's the same person that didn't have the fortitude to do it themselves. Who am I talking to now? Hold that thought, because guess what I'm getting ready to do? I'm about to have some coffee. Some coffee with you. Give me 5 minutes, yo. Nah, give me 30 seconds. Be back. Yes. I need that. Queens, I want you to make a promise to yourself as a goal for 2017. And if you're able to do this, this will be a good indicator that, first of all, the best is yet to come, but you're on your way. Number one, Kings peak game. And what I mean by game, I mean by truth. Make it make 2017 the year that you take accountability for your life. See, yes, there's so many stigmas out there. There's so many excuses out there. But make next year the year you don't run from your pain. You take accountability for your life. Because for years, I don't know who made this so acceptable, but one of the stigmas, excuse me, y'all, because you know me, brother, my brother stay vitamined up. Yes, sir. Kings. I'll get back to my point in a second. This is just a disclaimer to the fellas. If you do not start taking care of yourself, what's going to happen is you're going to grow infertile. And I'm going to tell you why. I know somebody saying, ain't nothing wrong with my yang girl. Will you stop playing? Did you know that 85% of the food that is sold, and I say 85%, this is minus vegetation, you know, fruits, vegetables, and such as that. But everything else has a estrogen component. And estrogen, yes, you have estrogen in your body, just as well as you have testosterone. But does it also surprise you that we have so many little boys walking around with strong, feminine disposition? Mm-hmm. And also, I believe that's the reason why some of them think that they're supposed to be gay, No, I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Number one, did you know whole milk has a high concentrate of estrogen? And it's very obvious because think about it. You don't get milk from a bull. Hello, lights off. Exactly. So you are, we're drinking the byproduct of a female. So if little Johnny is drinking milk all the time, he's getting extra doses of estrogen in his system. You also find that in a lot of processed food too. You know, all that junk stuff, you know, there's estrogen in there. But does it surprise you with society? Because society doesn't want strong men. They like docile ones. So when you peel the onion back, you kind of wonder why, Queens, you had to shift the responsibility and the role of the caregiver. You ever thought about that? You spend more time doing this and not doing this. The roles are switched. Don't see that? You are what you eat. Now, let me go back to what I was going to say earlier. Unfortunately, there's a stigma, y'all, in society that has been passed through society through the generations that if you want truth, don't go to a female because a woman will not admit when she's wrong. And growing up, I saw that a lot. It's like you got to go around the mountain before someone will admit, hey, you know what? I was wrong. It's always flip flop. Like, well, I would have never did this. Take accountability for your life. The moment that you decide to take ownership of your life, your path, your purpose will be solidified. And guess what? Once you are prepared, you know that glow you hear about? That glow is a byproduct of your spirit. That's why when you see so many women that are pregnant, they have that glow because that's the strongest time that she is connected with herself. You ever thought about that? It's there. Why? Because there's a battle going on for the development of that child. And she is most vulnerable at that time because she's pregnant. So you know there's some spiritual warfare going on. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. The devil knows that. Jezebel's spirit knows that too. So when you decide to stop running, your life will be crystal clear. And you know what the reward for that is, y'all? It's this. You'll get that rested sleep you dream about. Why are you dreaming about a good night's sleep? Hmm? Why does it take that you have to go on a vacation to do your best sleep? Who am I talking to? So that's the only time I get to sleep when I'm away. You're supposed to have that every time you go to sleep. But you can't have peace of mind until you're ready to commit to yourself. You ain't going to find that with Sharon. You're not going to find that with Steve. You find that within you because you are already, it was already within yourself. You ever thought about that? Come on now. What you don't want to do is go through life and have all these problems, all this despair, all this trauma. And mind you, God forbid you have children because they're watching mama go through it. And we all know if mommy ain't happy, the environment's not happy. Why? Because you're given a gift of nurturement. Hmm? You're not supposed to be going through that burden by yourself. And that's why you're hearing about situations now. I wasn't going to say something, but I got to throw it out there. There's thing going on right now in Chicago. This woman got arrested for abusing her son. Abusing her son, 2-year-old. and had his head bust open, and she would lock him up in his room in a closet, barely feed him. And somehow he got out, and someone took him to social services. You know, God was in that. That boy was protected. But if that boy don't get a heavy dose of love and care, that boy is going to turn around and be the living manifestation of pain. Because that's what broken spirits do. Come on now, think about it. There's a lot of good people in prison. But why does it take going through period of being incarcerated to get back to you? Because you got a lot of time to think? Or is it because your back is to the wall and that's truth? So why are you running from truth? Why are you running? So meanwhile, while you're looking in the mirror tonight, getting ready to cut a rug out there, just know that there are going to be some people waiting to make you the next contestant of The Young and the Restless. And their whole sole benefit is you. And just know, when it matters, they won't be there. You will be just something to do. And if you think that, yes, I know, Queens, you're like, well, I don't go to the club to look for nobody. But a lot of y'all go there to drink for free. So that's deception too, right? There's a price for everything you do. You do understand that, right? But anyway, I ain't got to tell you because I've got a bunch of smart, intelligent, blessed people on my channel. And you deserve to have the life intended. But I can't do the work for you. I get tired of watching women walk past me and they lost their smile. You see it in their eyes. Why? Because the window to the soul is through your eyes. That's why when I laugh when I see those big old glasses, like Terminator X, you can't hide you. When I see that, that tells you right there. Yeah, you trying to distract what's really going on. Maybe that's the reason why you focus so much on your backside instead of focusing on where you're headed. But I know for the intended heart and mind, just know your blessing is right in front of you. And I say that figuratively, you're on the right path. Just look at where you are now compared to where you were 6 months ago. How about 6 years ago? What has changed? Have you grown? Or are you still doing the same things you were doing then? And if you are doing the same things that you were doing then, does it surprise you that you are feeling what you're feeling? Because trust and believe when I tell you this, the people that do not want you to know you, they're going to do everything in their power to keep you distracted from you. They can't afford that you grow because if you grow, you're going to leave them. And guess what? Misery loves company. Come on now. Come on now. Meanwhile, there's going to be somebody looking for you, waiting to treat your body like the golden arches. They don't know your last name. How do you expect them to honor your dreams? Your life is priceless, y'all. When you going to claim it? God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your work. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Not everybody's going to be able to earn the right to know your story. You do understand that, right? So choose your company wise. Be blessed.